Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Files. I'm here with Jeremy with Consciousness Connect. And today we're going to be talking about everything Ascension. And Jeremy's been telling me about how intense the energies have been this past week and how crazy everything has been. And I agree with him. I mean, I just moved into a new home and it's just been absolutely intense trying to get back up on the ball, rolling and everything like that. But I'm grateful to be here with him today. So tell us a little bit about what you've been going through this last weekend. And I know on your channel, you talk a lot about the Ascension. You talk a lot about awakening our consciousness and connecting it together, unifying. And what I love about it, it's like very technical. So why don't you start talking a little bit about the technicalities of what you think's happening on our Earth plane right now?
Is consciousness awake? Yeah, it's all right. No worries. Again, thank you for inviting me to do this meeting with you. I'm really happy to be around your energy because your energy seems to calm me down.
Yeah.
and make me feel tranquil and calm. So that's always nice.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Even though it's through technology, isn't that crazy how you're not even next to me, you're like 3,000 miles away from me, but I can feel your energy.
Yes. Yes.
Your presence, it's really crazy. Just more proof to how how consciousness, how our spirit body is energy, and how our consciousness, with my channel, I talk about how our soul is our consciousness. So from getting out of my own body many times since I was like 7 years old, 8 years old. um what happens is, a lot of people have had out of body experiences, so they can kind of connect to what I'm saying. But there's still a lot of people who kind of understand this topic and this subject matter, but they haven't actually had like their own verifiable own experience, and they're just trying everything they can to try to get to that point. Because what it really is people just trying to prove it to themselves in a way. Because even for me, if I never had non-physical experiences with these other energy bodies that my consciousness can shift to. If you came up to me at a Starbucks and sat down next to me and said, "Hey, listen to me, buddy, there's other energy bodies and you can get out of your physical body with your conscious soul," and I would be like, "What are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense." So it just is what it is. So that's why it's like certain people that kind of that connect or resonate with the information, with the experiences, yeah, with the data. um and there's some people who just don't get it at all. So there's people like me now, start ever since the Aquarian age started kicking in here. We're trying to lift up levels of consciousness, of self-awareness, and it's a very difficult process for everybody, including myself. For whatever reason, the multiverse has blessed me in a way to where I've had my own one-on-one experiences with all this other stuff. And so it's like, I'm probably supposed to be doing what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be communicating and talking about this, and like it's starting the YouTube channel, the platform, and getting my information out there.
And it's what's interesting is that you talked about, before we jumped on, you talked about how, man, we should have done this 10 years ago. And I've been, I did start it 10 years ago, but I got scared, I think. And
oh no, wow.
And I went a different way. I started using Facebook, and I kind of went away from the message of being human, which is really kind of my message. It's about human development, spiritual evolution, and then that elevates our consciousness.
So the last few days, yes, I remember you were, when we first talked about getting this meeting put together, you were talking about how you were feeling some irregular or more intense blasts of energy coming in towards you. And yeah, so for me, I had some other friends too, like on the East Coast, more like towards New York and whatnot, and then some in Colorado, where it's almost like everyone's feeling this, but it's not at the same time though. It's almost like it's coming through at different times, to different different sectors of.
Yeah, like almost like the different meridians and the different chakra
Yes,
points,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Different latitudes, longitudes, all those kinds of things. So it's pretty interesting how that works. I've noticed that happens before too. That's happened many times before from what I've noticed.
Do
It's
you
never
do you have
all
any
at the same time.
precursors? Like for me, I hear these owls. I never see them, but I hear them hoo. It'll be no matter what time during the day. I'm out there and I'll hear hoo, hoo, hoo. And all of a sudden I know for the next 2 days it's gonna be transformation. That's what it's
Yeah.
for. It's like it's coming,
It's not, yeah. So it's so basically, I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but this energy, when I sense it and feel it, and from what I experience, the energy isn't necessarily, I mean, you feel physical symptoms, with your human body, with this avatar, you still feel symptoms. But to me, my perception of it is that this energy is something that my consciousness isn't entangling with. What we're trying to ascend and evolve is our consciousness and our spirit body. So our spirit body is within this human form. And like I said before, the spirit body is what you have when your physical body malfunctions, from whatever reason, old age or, cancer or whatever it may be. I don't use the word death or dying
We
because
don't.
death is not real.
No, it's not.
Death
It's
is
a
just,
it's a it's a program. It's a
yeah,
program.
exactly. And also
Aging. So is aging.
yes,
Aging.
yes.
By
Well,
celebrating birthdays, we're aging ourselves, man. Like
yeah,
what?
I know. Well, we live in a plane where time is like God. I mean, money and time, right? Those are the two things you can never change here: is money and time. And
And we're over here like, I'm gonna go this way.
well, it's all about just we get to this certain point in our life, all these different life experiences that we have. We've this experience you're having now, sitting there and you're at your place and stuff. I mean, this is like who knows how many thousands of life experiences you've already gone through. Your spirit moving from body to body, having all of these experiences, and I believe that not that some people actually their spirit body, their soul is in the mental planes, like in the astral planes, in the etheric planes. It's not necessarily reincarnated to this physical plane, but some come down, by choice. Or they have to learn something, or they are forced to, or sometimes tricked to. There's all kinds of scenarios. We don't all come to this Earth matrix all for this exact same reason. And we weren't all in the same particular place before coming here.
And we're not all in the same point in our sojourn as everyone else. And so again, why judging someone and telling someone how to be, which is I'm talking about myself here for a really long time. And so
yes,
now I'm getting better at letting it go. But what I realized is you can't judge somebody else's place because you don't know where they've been. You don't know why they're here. I come to
yes,
this understanding that we're here for generally three reasons. We're here either for the experience, we're here to have an experience, or we're here to learn and teach. And generally speaking, we're here for all three. But
yes,
I just honestly believe for me, I just believe my point in this life is to be a vessel for as much knowledge about this higher consciousness stuff to come through.
yeah.
I rainbow body up out of here and I go on to my next point of my sojourn. So do you believe,
Yeah.
I believe too, that there's cycles on this planet of like times where we have this ascension windows open and then humans awaken and become leaders. They lead humans to a higher level of consciousness. They ascend out, and then those humans run the earth plane, so to speak. Not
Yes.
humans, but those soul bodies run the earth plane, so to speak, until the next ascension window. Because
You're
people think
correct.
it's one lifetime. No, man.
Yeah.
It's an 80-year life is like
Yes. I agree with you 100%. When we talk about the multiverse, idea, right? It's there has to be, it has its own like entropies and evolutionary process. And so as the multiverse expands more and more, it needs to have more new reality constructs built on these other planes, because all of, let's say, just, and then there's Earth, right? Like this physical matrix we're in. I mean, it's definitely physical, because when I've been out of body, I mean, there's a difference between mental plane, doing things with your mental thoughts and your intentions, as opposed to doing things physically or manually, while in this body. Now that said, though, when you're out of body, you still can, do things physically, with those other bodies, and you have senses. You can do
but
all.
It's not this technology.
Yes, it's a different density of matter.
And what I believe is happening with Earth is that it was an experiment in taking a species from low consciousness back up to high consciousness while in form, instead of doing it while we're all gone. You kill everything off. Everybody's floating up in their corporeal bodies, and then you change everything. No, this time they were saying, hey, let's see if we can keep everyone alive and just raise this thing up. But here's this other idea. I truly believe this is the greatest piece of technology ever created anywhere in any universe at any time.
Oh, you mean this human body?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
The God creation vessel that allows us to experience both corporeal form, because we can see, and also have form in life. And I think the human form is the perfected form that's supposed to go without. It's not humanity. It's the human form that's perfected. It's gaining the humanity through Earth School, because because here's the other side of being human. You're a complete piece of shit. And you're going to go out into the universe and destroy everything like they did with Star Wars, because I heard that's a freaking documentary and it wasn't a movie. So that's the thing, is that, as I believe that Earth happened the way it happened, it was, the drama was introduced, the lower was so that we had to earn. So we had to earn our way back into the living kingdom, a higher frequency.
That's right.
And just like Enoch and just turned into Metatron, I believe that happened. You know what I mean? And I believe that's what we're moving towards. But a part of me believes we've already moved towards that, and we're here just remembering to just teach and then just go back. I don't believe we're here ascending for the first time. I believe people like you and I, who are here wanting to be talking about this and want to build cities of light, and we really want to lead this thing.
Yes, we came here as a mission.
Boom.
As a mission. We didn't realize that at first, obviously,
No.
but still at a very
I was like,
young
why
age.
Am I here?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're terrible.
Like, what am I? You're like, this place is limiting.
Why?
Right?
Dude, I had so much impatience my whole life, because I was like, why can't I be where I want to be right now? Like, why do I have to travel? And
that's a common symptom of somebody who has come down from mental planes.
Yep.
And also another common symptom is people who just come from mental planes on a mission here, is when they go to school, through the schooling process, there are some that go through and go to college and get degrees and all those types of things, but there's a lot of them who are their third eyes like pried open, and they're seeing all this information as just programming. So
I had to close my third eye to graduate college. The first time I went to college, I didn't graduate.
So you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you see the bullshit. I didn't understand what was happening to me fully until I got older, because I didn't have any any proper mentorship or people in my family or any immediate friends who were going through this kind of experience.
We were not going to be given that, dude. We were not.
Yeah, and there was no YouTube. There was no YouTube back then. We didn't even have a computer. My parents' house.
No.
So
you're playing Pong.
So that's right. When you have your third eye open, just kind of more naturally in a way, and you're really here on a mission to evolve consciousness, a lot of the programming that's put into place here in this reality construct, in this particular one we're in right now, it doesn't program you. You're always like thinking, well, why? You're kind of questioning it. You're like, why is, like when they started doing chemtrails, okay, for example. So it was 2000, it was right around 9/11 back in the year over 20 years ago. And I was living in Los Angeles. And I knew the first day when they started chemtrails because I noticed it. And I kept telling people like, hey, check that out. Don't you think it's a little odd?
Straight line cloud, nothing.
Tic-tac-toe formations, and then it's like contrails that expand into
Yep.
clouds,
Yep.
not dissipate. Okay.
They've been doing that a lot in Florida here this last 2-3 months since everything's gone down, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, now they do it strategically. They hit certain areas, certain times. But when they started 20 years ago, they were just going all at it, and I think they were trying to fine tune whatever they were trying. I believe there's multiple agendas involved with chemtrails. But yeah, but what I'm saying though is your perception of your world around you and your reality within you, when you're within this reality, you question things more. And so I notice things like those are just common symptoms of people who are here from the mental planes, and they are here to do their part, because I'm not I'm just one part of all these other people.
But every bolt, is important in
Yeah.
a let's just say every bolt is important in a spaceship in the vacuum of space. If one bolt goes, that could take the whole thing out. And so
Yeah.
we are all one part. And when I say people like us, even the people that are watching this type of content, the people that are into this idea of higher consciousness and this idea of a Christ light, but without all the foo-foo of the dogma. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just, up until last year, I didn't even really believe completely the story of Jesus Christ. And now all of a sudden I'm talking about Christ consciousness like 15 months later. And it's just amazing what can happen when you're actually finally shown the truth of of all that stuff for me, and
absolutely.
And we become a danger, though, to society with that knowledge. And that is why people like Yeshua was hunted. The Essenes were hunted for 500 years. The Gnostics were burned at the stake for 500 years until they thought they got them all. And then they legalized Christendom in Rome. How amazing is that? And think about this. This conversation we're having right now would put us not just back then, but today in a lot of countries, we wouldn't be allowed to have a conversation like this.
Yeah, correct. I've had, speaking of that, wow. I mean, I know when you look at my channel and, you look through the comments and whatnot, everything is positive, it's really great. But there is a lot of negativity. There's a lot of, I guess you call them haters or whatever you want to call them, right? I don't know, but I don't know what their deal is. But there's a lot of stuff I've had to delete. Emails. I mean, I put my email address on my channel. I do that because I know that it's gonna, like, if people really have a lot of questions about something, they're not going to put it in the comments. I mean, they're going to send an email, and then I can kind of like really help them and just focus on them some other time when I have time after work or something, and get back to them. So the deeper questions, I always tell people, please just email me, and then I'll just get back to you one at a time. Emails I've got, I mean, literally, people just saying stuff like, that you shouldn't be talking about this stuff. You know that you're just working for Satan.
Wow.
That, and then some people were like, you are Satan, all kinds of weird stuff, It's just ridiculous because, like you said, people are so conditioned and programmed with all this, these repressive religious belief structures. Now, that's
their identity, though. That's the issue. Is we peeled this human body apart and discovered the spark of God that we are. The difference with this is what's so funny. You know why religion doesn't work? Because there's no spirit in
it. Yeah.
When you have a institution that's based in ego and truth comes into the room, that's bright like spirit, that scares people. And here's the thing: is if Yeshua were to walk into a church today, they would probably scream him to be Satan, just like they do to you, and just like they do to all these other people. But this is just one type of fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, how about the fact that people don't even want an opportunity to understand what is happening in front of them on a moment by moment basis, and they're okay with I want to talk about the people out there that willingly, knowingly, all these things, they know the potentialities of the VACCINEs, they know what the mark of the beast, they know all the details, and they're like, So my question is this, because everything's perfect and nothing's wasted, right? This is a simulation. What if they chose to be in that role, to be contrast for us to go, I'm gonna go this way. What if they've already ascended in lives in the past, and now they decided to literally play a role to awaken the rest of us, and we're sometimes judging them, and in reality, they're doing us a favor. Again, this idea of NPCs. I have this idea that they brought to me was a human without their beingness is a non-player character. They're the shopkeepers, they're the merchants that the universe uses to awaken the hero, which you're the hero in your story. Everyone, your human experience is the only thing that's real, and they've convinced you that everything outside this experience is real. It's brilliant. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that. Talk about the perfection of this simulation, but the paradox of it being so real that you have to be immersed in it. You can't escape the human experience that you have.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out a couple little details there to what you're referring to. But I do understand what you're saying for the most part. I mean, I think my own perspective on this reality really just comes from having out of body experiences.
Yeah, let's go deeper into that then. Let's go deeper, because I had one when I was 6, but I don't know if it was me having an out-of-body experience or it was me as a walk-in going into my body, because all I remember is driving my bike. I guess I was driving my bike up my driveway, because all I remember is being 20 feet above my body by my house, and it driving the bike and then getting sucked back into the body. I don't know if I got taken out or if that was me coming in.
It could be. It's possible. And you were really young when you had that experience.
And I was being traumatized emotionally and physically at that time too. So it was like that perfect conditioning to create so that's why, to me, for me, as stressed as I was at that age, it could have popped me out. I think it was God saying, "Pop, there's more to this than you think."
Yeah,
it's been everything since, dude. It's been everything.
Yeah, well, I don't think that God made you pop out. I believe that we're all kind of in a way like natural astral projectors.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the multiverse. It's part of the process because if anybody, I don't care who they are, if they believe they have a spirit, a soul, then that in my mind equals consciousness, right? That means that it's in this body experiencing this life cycle, this life experience. But that means that you came from somewhere else, right? Because our consciousness is energy, and we don't know if it lasts forever. We don't know that, but we do know that it lasts for a long time. That's for sure. We can't claim to say that it's actually infinite. We don't know. My perspective on this reality just comes solely from my own my experiences with my consciousness in this body, and my experiences with consciousness while not in this body and in other energy bodies, and seeing all those different angles and perspectives on what's going on, what's happening. No, I don't know everything, and nobody really does. There's like, so once the deeper you go, more and more questions come.
Yep.
Like it doesn't
you have to surrender, because it's an avalanche, and then you finally get some answers, and there's so many more questions, and if you start to take it personal, you get a little flabbergasted. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is, because sometimes when I just drive in my truck at work, and I'm just thinking about how incredible not just this world is, but the multiverse, how incredible all of it is, and how there's all these layers and power constructs that oversee all these different levels and layers going all the way up. And so, and I'm going to kind of go back to what you were talking about earlier, about how the multiverse needs individuals and consciousness to evolve, and so they can expand and grow within the multiverse, and to help other souls, et cetera, et cetera. It's just part of the process. But this reality, yes, from my own perspective and my own out-of-body experiences, what I've noticed is This is definitely, I don't want to call it like a prison for consciousness, right? I don't want to go to that negativity because
It's a preschool.
it can be for some people. It can be
Yes.
like a literal prison, and to me, it's not literally a prison
A
because
living hell and a living heaven. Your choice. You make it.
Because I'm not stuck here. I'm not stuck in my human body. I know I can get out of my human body. So I'm not stuck completely. So it's not like you're literally in cells, like, in a prison cell. But it still is like a prison. So this reality, in my opinion, was designed many thousands of years ago, and it was designed as a holding facility for consciousness. Now, that I know that sounds weird or it sounds negative, but it's not. What it is that it's just a world, a reality construct on this 3D plane, which we call the 3D plane. We're more in physicality. We're more grounded to more dense matter, so that we can, like you said earlier, have all these different experiences and learn new things and have experience different kinds of emotions, and also healing from certain traumas and going through all these things. But we're limited, for the most part. And then what happens is you are told what your reality is. So once the programming of this particular reality construct downloads into your brain, into your human body, it makes your consciousness then believe that what reality is what you're told it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the only way to break away from that perception of believing what you're told it is to A, question things, B, learn astral projection and get out of body to realize how much more there is. That automatically opens up your perception.
Do you think that's why ayahuasca is such a powerful experience? Because people, I was supposed to do it last year, and I was grateful. No, I really wanted to do it. I'm grateful it didn't happen. I had my own experience that really helped me heal on a different level that I don't think would have happened with ayahuasca, but it's something I want to do. But I know that you need to be ready to be ripped out of your body. Why is it important for people to practice their astral projection and their remote viewing and increase their consciousness before going down to Peru in the jungle and ripping themselves out of their body? I mean, that's a wonderful experience, but what I realized is people expect to go down there and be healed. The healing doesn't start until you're done with the medicine.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And they don't have that reintegration. But if you're doing a spiritual practice every day where you yourself are attempting to do that, because that's why my therapy I went to was so powerful, and something they don't talk about in Western medicine is the fact that you need to go home and practice what your therapist is teaching you, but they don't really teach you anything. That's the point. And so the key is, if you have a practice where I would meditate, I would go home and take whatever I learned from the therapy that day and apply it in my meditation. And within a year and a half, instead of 30 years, I was able to heal from 30 years of trauma. And so what I'm asking now is, has your ability to astral project and your knowing that you've kept this whole time almost shielded you from having mental issues, mental health complications? Did you separate yourself from, I'd say, higher power energy, whatever you want to call it? I say
that's
God.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's kind of a rare question, like a very unique question. I've been through a lot of different things in my physical life, traumas and experiences, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of people do, right?
Yes.
But you're right. My type of personality is a type where I've never seen a therapist. I don't see counselors. My own therapy is my own consciousness. So my consciousness does dissect it. Because someone's looking at it from a different perspective.
You trust your consciousness is the key. Well, I didn't trust myself.
Yes.
And what I realized about surrendering to something bigger than you, which ends up being you anyway, is you are not enough in this form. So something outside yourself, you really need to surrender to. And in reality, it's just the energy that's above you, that's been there forever. That is everything that has been, or whatever, however long a consciousness has been around, say. Because I don't know the infiniteness of a consciousness either. I believe it's stages and I believe it's earned. And I don't know everybody has this idea that we're all going the same way and we are all
True.
one. But
Yes.
I do believe that as a unique fractal of God, as a unique fractal of that
Yes.
one source,
Mm-hmm.
I earn where I'm at.
Yes.
That's a trait throughout the universe is
That's
free
correct.
will, sovereignty, and you earn your keep. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
correct.
So
Especially if you
no,
want to earn, the trust of the higher up power constructs. Like, and I'm talking about in mental planes.
yes.
High, not the power construct of our Earth matrix. But yeah, you have to earn the trust because I know, there's certain things that I probably won't ever make videos about. Maybe one day, when I'm older and have time, maybe write or make a book with like all this information that maybe I can't share, on a platform.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Or we can use another platform.
Or we can use another platform. Correct. There's Reddit. There's some other
Rumble.
ones.
Rumble
YouTube is still a very powerful platform.
So that's why I resonate with it, man. And I don't. And here's the other thing too is that I'm being now brought back to these other platforms. So it was take a step back, take all of our energy off of them, and now we're gonna flood. So consider putting an Instagram up, but only using it to drive to your YouTube and drive to your other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, make YouTube still the number one. Yeah.
You got to meet people where they're at. And unfortunately, the people that we want to connect with are on these platforms.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these different ones.
Here's the thing. It's not our job to jump in the foxholes, that's how I use military term, jump in the foxholes in the muck anymore and talk about all that stuff that would get us thrown off. Now we just talk about higher consciousness. Now we just talk about, because here's the thing is enough people have awakened now to where they're even getting tired of all that stuff. They see how much BS it is. And they're like, this guy, I don't know why this resonates with me right now, but I'm looking at what's going on over here and I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going to go play in this consciousness sandbox and see what's up,
Yeah, just like your channel. I'm really excited that you started a channel. It seems like and you're younger than me, so you're gonna have so much time over the next years to really grow wonderfully. And
here's the thing about that is what I'm growing is, and what I've been trying to actually for the last 4 years, I just was learning. It really was just a learning process. Is I want to find people like you. I want to find people like my friend Jules. I've done 4 of these with her so far. She's incredible. Okay. She's starting to make her own content. She's going to start her own YouTube channel. I call it the Army of Energy because it's not about me. It's about the channel I bring, not the channel I bring of knowledge and wisdom, the perspective and channel you bring of knowledge and wisdom, and unify that together. And we create that hologram. So all of the points of perspective are covered and we get that full picture of truth. And you cannot deny truth when it's staring you in the face, and it's unemotional because it's just what it is, man. And that's what I'm about. It's just truth.
Yeah, and that's why, like, even on some of my videos, I even take the time to share my subscribers out-of-body experiences.
Dude, that's brilliant, man. I love hearing them.
Just to show people, like, hey, it's not just me having these experiences. There's a lot of people having them.
Are you teaching people how to do this too?
Yeah. Well, the ultimate goal of the channel I started is to teach people how to astrally project. If they've never done it before, if they maybe had a couple experiences, want to get more experiences in. I think ultimately in the years to come, my ultimate vision is to have something beyond the YouTube channel. But whatever that is, whatever makes sense, in down the road,
do you think astral projecting can help somebody who has mental health conditions?
That's a very tricky question because there's so many different types of conditions. There's so many different types of emotional issues and things. I find that something I should make a point of in my future videos is just really letting people know that you want to be in a good, positive state of mind before you start jumping out of your body.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude, you start jumping into some demons and stuff.
Because when you're in a mental plane, if you're having any traumas, emotional issues, if you're having too much fear energy in your life, or just internalized fear energy, not just fear energy from external sources, you're going to pop out of your body and you will be scared shitless because your consciousness is entering then into this mental plane, and it will manifest the bad emotions, the negative energies, a lot of the
It's the stuff
fears.
you got to work out, because it's
That's
always a
right.
learning. It's
So
always a
so
learning experience.
that's something, and thank you for bringing that up because it's been in the back of my mind. But I should definitely mention that more, with my subs and whatnot, and say, now, this is for everybody, but maybe maybe it's a different time, different timelines.
But here, how about this? Is I honestly believe in resonance more than anything now, and I think your message will only be received by those who are ready to start doing something like that. Because I don't think you can get out of your head enough when you're that much trauma to pop out of your body. So
That makes sense.
there
Yeah.
might be a natural buffer there for the people.
Mhm.
And the only reason I ask is because my 10-year vision is I want to set up retreat centers around the entire country where it's a la carte, because we're not all one size fits all. For me, it was a combination of accelerated resolution therapy, which was huge. It was about taking me out of fight or flight and then teaching me visualization techniques so that when I'm in my meditative state, I can reprogram my brain. Because what I realized is that when you do the accelerated resolution therapy, it shuts your parasympathetic nervous system down, takes you out of your left brain, and allows you to push ideas and knowledge and information into your right. And what people don't understand about neurology is that this is your mama bear, and this is you're just gonna, you're just gonna take it, and it's gonna become
Yeah.
you. And so that's why this is an important, its ego brain is so important. It's
Yes.
because it
Yes.
shutters what information gets stored. And here's the thing is when we're a kid, we don't have that ego brain yet. And we're all right brain basically. And we just take it in. And what's amazes me about parenting is we don't care about the way we parent for kids until they're like 7. But by the time they're 7, they're already stuck in all the shit we just caused them. But anyway, what I was talking about the brain, what I was talking about the brain real quick is, for me, psychedelics helped burst me open, because when being in the military, on top of all the trauma and PTSD I had from my childhood, 25 inoculations later, and my pineal gland with all the alcohol and then supplements and then food and then everything else, my pineal gland was completely closed. And I think a part of the pain, I went through, especially with my mental health, was the fact that my pineal gland was just like open, and it was so calcified. And when I was able to do, I did LSD, and it broke all that calcium out of my pineal gland, and then allowed me to finally.
Did you hear like snapping, cracking, popping kind of noises?
Pings,
Yeah.
and a couple of times after that, not on anything or anything like that, but I would go through a really intense experience. Like the beginning of this thing, I would become actor because I didn't wear masks, and so I would become actor for not wearing one. And it's like a big trigger of mine, and like my whole vision would it would go bing, 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 and all of a sudden I get like really lightheaded. But it was like the calcium breaking off my pineal gland. You know what I mean? And it was so crazy because all of a sudden, after that experience, I was better than I was before that happened. And eventually it just stopped happening. And I just knew through my diet, through this dirt product that I drink, it has humic and fulvic acid in it, and it just completely detoxes you from the cellular level up. And it's just your bones, your muscles, your brain, your everything. And so my whole focus was, if I can clear my brain, if I can clear my body of all this trauma, of all my stored emotional trauma in my cells, what is possible? And I'm just now, within the last 2 weeks, really coming up now, growing back. And dude, like, I'm strong. I'm as strong as I was 50 pounds ago. And I'm just now coming online to like what this vehicle is truly capable of. And so for me, what I've done is I've walked this path of ascension these last 3.5 years and basically chronicled it. Just I had a different brand. And what Warriors of Light became was almost like my re-emerging. It was almost like I killed the person that was killing me. And this is the truth. This is the truth of who I am. And this is what my passion is. And this is what I believe I'm meant to do. And so for me, what the energy you feel is, I have no ego in this, because God has humbled me. God, universe, whatever you want to call it, has humbled me repeatedly so that I can be in this point in my life now, in this life now, this remembrance, so that we can connect and then truly make an impact. Because what happened was 3 years ago, they didn't want this stuff, man. They wanted fucking frappuccinos and Ugg boots and fucking, like Tamagotchis. I don't know, that's 30 years ago, whatever. But what I'm trying to get at is nobody cared about love and light 3 years ago. They wanted take fucking selfies. And I was a part of that too. But what I try to do is I tried to bring some spirit into the matrix, and it just ate me alive. And so this is what came of that. And so my transformation was letting go of all the things that were killing me so that I can finally pick up what it is that I always was asking for, which was just purpose, man. I just want to be doing something that's bigger than whatever the fuck the last 31 years on this earth plane has been, where it's like pizza exactly. And hamburgers and movies and baseball. And guess what? I love playing baseball. But
I love baseball too.
But why are we spending 30 hours a week at the bar watching fucking the Mets and then talking about the Mets and then playing fantasy football?
It brings your vibration down. Yes. But what it is though, it's not just affecting your body though. It's not just a human body thing. It's what I was trying to explain earlier is that our spirit body, our consciousness is very active here.
Yes.
But we're just ignorant to that. Or not everybody, some people just are oblivious to that fact. And so when you're at the sport bar and watch a baseball game, it's one thing to just check a game out and not put too much energy into it. You could do that. But when you just sitting around drinking beers, watching football, doing this, doing that, but you're getting into kind of a cyclical nature with it, a habitual nature with it, is what I'm trying to refer to, the habitual part of it. You're just lowering your vibration. You're keeping consciousness centered more in the human body through all of the stimulations and the sensory input we get from around our environment, around our human experience environment. So it could be good stuff too. It could be a lot of things. I mean, people, there's no one ever said that having intimacy with another person is a bad thing. But still you can get
with everyone.
But it can still be a distraction though.
Yes.
It could be a distraction to consciousness.
Intention is everything. Intention.
So sometimes that's why, like now in my life, I just kind of do. I practice the rules of moderation with like literally everything. That way I'm not being.
You notice how you said that? You're like, with just everything.
Yes, everything.
So hard.
Everything. I know. Well, but the thing is, what's even harder is to be too strict on yourself, and to eliminate, like people talking about.
I love this experience is so brilliant, man. It is like, okay, I got it here. And they're like, okay, what about over here? But I just got here.
So now even relationships, like you were talking about how there's certain characters, certain humans that are in this reality matrix that are put in strategic places to either benefit or not benefit another form of consciousness. And I do agree with that. I do believe that too. It's not that everyone's part of that. It's just there's certain, it's a certain percentage, that are associated with that. But yeah, so when your consciousness, so we're manifestor beings, right? The pure essence of our consciousness is designed to manifest and to create. We're all like little mini universes, our own universes, our own gods, etc. We're all just like God, but we're just working our way through the process to get to those points. Okay, we're not separate. We're all going through the same experiences. And I mean, who knows where the actual original being is.
And here's the thing too about like when people talk about that there's no timeline, there's no past, there's no present, everything's happening at the same time. But what people don't often talk about is this exact moment. It's like this one we're having right now, this exact moment. It has never happened before, and now it's gone. But so there's all these possibilities until we come to the 0 point of these actual now moment, and whatever had happened. but
Yeah,
it didn't happen until it happened. And that's the slit test. When you look at, the
correct.
scientists, they think one way, it goes the other way, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Horrible explanation of that
Yeah.
one.
Well, but going back to the baseball thing, the sport bars and stuff. Yeah, just what I want to just emphasize is, people just have to be consciously aware of how they're using their consciousness, because the power construct of this reality matrix, and I call them power construct because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
It's
Is
perfect.
that does that make sense?
No, in fact,
Because
it's
power
perfect.
construct is just kind of a generalized term. People kind of know what you're talking about.
No,
I don't want
I agree. Yeah.
to I don't want to name names, and those kinds of things, because
I
I
guess
have,
what, man, it doesn't matter because they're gone. They're done. It's over. It's over.
yeah.
We're going this way.
Well, it's a war on consciousness. It's a war on consciousness,
Why
and
do
it's
you
been
think?
a
Why? Oh my
war.
gosh, dude! Why do you think they said he in Harry Potter, he who shall not be named?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of references. There's a lot of undertows. There's a lot of symbology in
They,
movies and
they
all kind and art and music and
they say that she channeled that for the Starseed generation,
interesting. Wow, I didn't hear about that particular thing. That's
and
interesting to learn.
that she was one of the few that didn't go to the power structure, and she battled them, but because she was so powerful, she became so known and powerful so quickly to billions of us across the
Yes,
world
you're
that
correct. Yes, correct. And
she
that's
actually
just
was
it.
a light worker, and that everything that talks about, well, first of all, I believe that there is a wizard world. I believe that's the fifth type of dimension, maybe not the fifth, maybe it was a fourth realm or something, but I do believe that there is some sort of alternate world like that, and I think it's being meshed. I think that's what's coming down onto the earth plane, and what we're starting to experience is our own idea, because there's a lot of references to unicorns in that, and they say that the unicorn was referencing children, and that whole thing that about all that crazy stuff that's going on with the children around the world. And they're saying that there's certain references in the movie where they talk about, oh, Harry, Hagrid talks about there was a dead unicorn, they found it, and you never take the life of a unicorn. It's like, if you take its blood, it gives you immortality, but it costs you everything. And it's
Yes,
just
yeah.
like,
It's like
man,
selling your soul to Satan or something.
let's talk a little bit about controlling your consciousness and the importance of the content you put in there, and not just the food and the alcohol and all those stuff, but
Yeah,
the actual
absolutely.
content, the conversations you have, and
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Like you said a second ago, we make personal decisions on what we do with all of our individual quantum moments, now moments, as we go throughout our life. And of course, we want consciousness to kind of focus more and center on the moment, on the now, because we don't want our consciousness to get too distracted by past stuff, or by worrying about future stuff, future timeline stuff, or past timeline stuff. That's where we get a lot of our issues from, actually, because people are just all over the place with their thoughts and minds, and they just can't focus on that now moment. They're thinking about last week, bad relationship, traumas. Oh no, is this person going to go out with me next week? How's that date going to go? How's that job interview going to go next month? They're not thinking about now. And so it's not that difficult, but but people can retrain themselves to just wake up in the morning and just live in that quantum now moment with their consciousness, and be and make decisions about your day and what you put into your body. If it's food, good quality, energetic, high energy, high vibrational food. Is it crap food? Is it dense, low vibrational food, or just overall poor quality? Because every little thing we do helps us vibrate higher. And so, like you said, it's about trying to control our diet, control our emotions, control ourselves from not getting into bad relationships, control ourselves from not getting entangled with negative people who either uh, energy vampire you or just make you more negative. Because especially for me, I'm an energy sensitive person.
Same.
So and so I'm very consciously aware of what kind of people I choose to spend my days and times with, especially as I've gotten older, not that I'm perfect. I mean, I've had some bad relationships. I've had to go through all the bad stuff, right?
Contrast.
And who knows what the future holds, but let's not worry about the future, because there's no reason to worry about anything in the future timelines, especially if they're not even materialized or manifested yet. We can just focus on the now, right? But yeah, meditation is important. Meditation is just a great tool um, to gain more control over your thoughts, because that's really what meditation is to be able to control your mind. And then as you get into deeper phases of meditation, and if you keep yourself awake, if you keep your mind and consciousness awake as your body is falling to sleep, then you can practice more of that override mechanism of how consciousness can override the brain. So the brain is a these human bodies are, in my opinion, from my own experiences, they're like self-replicating biological mechanisms. Okay, that's what I call them. They're kind of like robots. Like you said, they're super high tech, right? The most amazing technology that you will see with your own human eyes is looking at another self-replicating biological
Every 13
mechanism.
months, we become a whole brand new human.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, it's amazing.
How is Consciousness awake? How is your platform and what you're envisioning doing over the next 3, 5, 10 years? How Talk to us about it. Tell us a little bit about your vision and talk about how you're going to use teaching people about consciousness and how to control their thoughts to change their world. It's not the world. The world's going to be what it's going to be. It's their world.
Yes, that's correct. We are all individually. We're there's two things going on. We're individually creating our own realities, and also we're collectively creating our reality as a whole, because all of us individually have this equal ability and power to as creator beings. The only problem is that people don't understand that they are creator beings, because they completely I mean, there's a white I mean, when you go into the human body, all your memories of your previous life cycles and from where you were previous to entering into human body, if you're a walk-in, if you get into the body just like right at birth, before birth, a couple of weeks after birth, whatever, doesn't matter. There's a process to put in place where once our consciousness fully integrates that first time into the human body, it destabilizes all those previous memories. Now, sometimes, and now again, no process is perfect. So that's why there's a small percentage of people that can remember past lives, or they remember their walk-in situation. I'm a walk-in. I was 4 years old, and I walked in, and you were talking about how you believe from that out-of-body experience that could have possibly been your own walk-in experience. So you're still kind of remembering some of the last stuff. It's still there. It's kind of like a dream. Sometimes you have these crazy dreams, and
Dude, my whole life is starting to feel like it was just a dream now.
A dream. Dreams within dreams. Yes, it's dreams within dreams, just in different planes, different timelines.
Because you're right. I feel like I'm no longer in the third dimension. Like my body obviously is third to three-dimensional, but I am what they've come to tell me is I am my higher consciousness now. I am my higher self. There isn't me talking to my higher self. I've done all. No, I am my higher self. I'm now guiding my human through this maze of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
you're at that point. You've evolved yourself and your consciousness very, very rapidly, especially since you're still really young.
Mm-hmm.
And the position you're in right now is just phenomenal. And so now it's just a matter of, as you know, you're becoming the embodiment.
Yes.
The embodiment of this idea of Christ consciousness, and you're putting it all together to share with others through a platform and grow not just individually or with yourself, but to grow with other people too.
Yes.
And so some people do that. Some people like to keep to themselves.
Yes.
There's a lot of really good astral projectors out there that I know, believe me, and they wouldn't dare get a platform and start talking about these things because they, for whatever reason, maybe it's too personalized for them, or they're afraid of ridicule, or the haters and negativity and stuff. So it does take some balls to to get on here and just talk freely.
And that was a big part of my awakening and my ascension, was getting past all of my insecurities. I never thought I'd be a person on camera, man. I remember the first video I put out 3 years ago, I cried when it was uploading because I was like, what are they going to think of me? And it ended up being really powerful, and I had a lot of feedback, and it just launched me on this journey.
You just do it. You just do it and just see where it goes. But yeah, I see, like, I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question earlier. I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah, my vision, like 10 years from now, yeah, my vision is like, the same vision I had since I was like, maybe like 18 or 20, or maybe my early 20s, which is to have like centers, have astral projection centers. There are some types of centers in different formats. There's stuff that does exist.
But mainstream, you're going to make it right. You're going to make it
mainstream. You know what? There you go, Ace. You just.
Why do you think it's all pretty, man? I'm commercializing consciousness.
It's about, well, it's
not commercial. Not commercializing isn't selling it. I meant
mainstream. It's about making not consciousness mainstream, but making astral projection mainstream, because through astral projection, that person has that opportunity to get out of body and be like, whoa, what is this? This has just changed my life forever. And then you automatically have like a spiritual, you go through that spiritual awakening process. It could be a fast one, it could be, a slow one, whatever it is. But I feel like astral projection, at least that,
a gateway to consciousness.
It is, it's a gateway to experiencing your You know what? You're giving me some amazing.
All right, first of all, I'm gonna take what you just spoke about Army of Energy, and that's gonna literally become my pitch from now on. Oh, it's brilliant. Nice. So you can take that. You can take the astral projection is the gateway to consciousness.
To consciousness, yeah. I gotta change my banner now on the top of my channel.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. But you're a brilliant, brilliant human being. I'm so grateful to meet someone who has reached their beingness, and that you have the confidence and the strength to put it out there. Because what I'm understanding is that's great that we can teach people we can astral project, or that we can have these cool conversations. But if we're not sharing that wealth, then are we any better than the billionaires hoarding all that money?
Yes,
so
correct.
That's how I look at it. It's not about me, man. That's why I'm okay with all this now. It's about the message. It's about what we're trying to create. Because here's the thing: is I wouldn't say I'm tired of hearing everybody talk about the kittens and the unicorns and I love it, but when we don't have any substance right now, and I'm trying to bring substance to our community, where it's okay, we've been talking about this for about 10 years. Now it's time for us to start implementing all of these things, and you're doing that by teaching people about astral projecting, leading them to their higher consciousness,
their own experiences. Yes, exactly. Because I feel like I told you before, if I never had my own experiences, I wouldn't even know that I'm consciousness. I wouldn't even be a spiritual person. I don't know what I'd be. Yep. I'd probably be agnostic.
I'd probably still be losing my mind. So one of the ones I did was spirituality as a means of survival. And that was nice. For me. It was true for me. There was no other path. I would not be here. I was close to checking out many times. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the reason I've gotten to this point is I don't have anything left this is it for me, man. I'm so grateful to finally have that focus. And because I shuttered all of that other stuff that was BS. I shuttered the past and the forward and the future thinking, or the fretting, more than anything. And now I just exist in the now moment of my heart. And I just want to teach so many people this that want to receive it. That's the key. Is I was trying to force veterans to take care of themselves. Now I'm just offering these services to the people who not just veterans that are hurting, but all the people out there that feel that they didn't belong in that old world. You didn't, because you're meant to lead in this new one. And that's why you and I are here. We're not even here as the leaders, so to speak. We're here as the way showers of the leaders. And that's what I don't think people realize right now is we're the leaders of the leaders, because we're here to guide those leaders so that they can then really anchor in what it is that that's coming down through us right now. And
Well,
man,
you never know what the future holds for even for you, right? You know, you
so
got to think about it. Let's like you said you just turned 31.
yep.
Yeah, and I just turned 41, and I'm not really old either.
Yeah.
I want to do this till I'm in my 70s. I mean, I want to just do this from
Yep.
here on out.
Mhm.
And I think in my 30s, I always told myself, when I turn about 40 or so, that might be the right time, to just jump in, just get something started. I think if I can build my platform over the years, build it very in higher quantities of people, I think that my vision of making astral projection centers where there's like trainers, there are hands-on trainers at the facilities. There's independent rooms and spaces with sensory deprivation chairs, not tanks, but chairs, and just training people on how to do this. I think if people just are opening up their perspectives and their minds, and remember this whole thing, astral projection, it's you're not even using substances. You're not taking DMT.
You're just being.
Yeah, so yeah, for me, the psychedelic experiences, if it's DMT or psilocybin or LSD, and there's a lot of other ones. Even salvia, I've had a couple interesting experiences on salvia. But on the extract, not on just the leaves, but I find that all of these hallucinogenical, even some marijuana that has a little more psychedelic side effect, because
Mhm.
not all marijuana is, for
It's
psychedelic.
the THC, the CBD content that really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So all of those substances have their own unique experiences.
They're a
And
consciousness.
how they interact with consciousness. So consciousness is interacting with all these different trips, if it's peyote, if it's whatever it is. But an out-of-body experience for consciousness is nothing like any kind of psychedelic experience. So, but psychedelics, I do believe they do help to kind of open up your perspectives. Sometimes you do have, like you said, forced out-of-body experiences, and then you have that experience, and then that kind of stimulates that that whole aspect.
But anybody that's ever had a major psychedelic experience understands that it's one of the most intense things you've ever gone through, and you don't want to have a major psychedelic experience every time you want to leave your body. So what I think it is just like ayahuasca is usually the gateway to somebody really going after their past to shore up all that stuff so that they can now be present in the now moment. Because what I think ayahuasca does is it kind of brings you, what I find psychedelics do is it almost takes your ego out of you and provides you with an opportunity to be just in your spirit without all that noise, to see what
Yes.
reality is really all about. And
Correct.
you get to a point though in your sojourn and in your meditative state and in this, where even if you were to do a psychedelic, you are vibrating so high that psychedelic actually brings you down. And I've been at a point where I've been on LSD and going, this is cool, but I've had more intense experiences sober, and that's when I was last time I've done it. I just didn't need to do it anymore. And I think if you use a psychedelic for the right reason and you do it in the right way with the right intentions, it's all about scene, set, setting. And so eventually that can be, if it's used for the right ways, like if it's not used recreationally, but it's used for spiritual advancement, eventually you're going to outgrow that psychedelic because it's not the end all be all. And I just started doing breath work, and the vibrations I felt from my breath work, the only other time I felt that way was when I was purging 25 years of emotional trauma on acid. and I
Yes,
was
correct.
just vibrating and it was just coming out of me. And I did breath work the other day and it was just like that. And I was like, I just changed my life. And ever since then, because I'm pretty sure I moved my Kundalini all the way up and out. I'm pretty sure I moved it out. And ever since then, man, I've just been like Kevin in Office Space. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying?
That is awesome. Yeah, you definitely feel when Kundalini gets activated. It's
I'm really grateful for you coming on the show. I know we're going to do this a lot more. Any way I can help you, any way at all, let me know. My community is your community. You're part of the Army of Energy now. And if you want to just take us off, I'll give you the last word and then we can sign off.
well, yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I know we were texting a little bit and that kind of thing, but this is the first time I actually met you.
Yes.
But it's funny how it's our first meeting and you're just recording it, and it's like I guess you're going to put on your channel, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So it's kind of wild how everything just gets put together. But I want to just say as an outro again, thank you for having me on your channel. I appreciate it. I look forward to meeting with you again and talking more. And then I want to do some podcasting on my channel in the coming months. And I definitely would love to have you come on too. That way, this whatever amount of subs I have at that point, that can see our conversation. What I will do though is, what I want to do is just get the link from you for this interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I upload a future video, my next video, or within a few videos, I can emphasize that link down below, and people can also just click on it, and they can click on this interview.
Perfect.
And,
I love that.
That would be, I think that would be beautiful to just do it that way.
It'd be great.
But my outro is some people understand what we're saying, and they really, like I said, resonate with it. But there's a lot of people who definitely need to be pushed in the right direction. So anything we can all do to do our little part, will assist in the process of evolving our own selves, but also helping to evolve other people within their consciousness, so they can get out of all the lower vibrational stuff that this human experience does to us, which keeps us down. It keeps us shut off from our higher selves. And also like you're talking about the pineal gland, we should do like a future video, I think, where we just talk about the pineal gland.
Yes.
And we go into the getting the toxins out of the pineal gland, improving the download process, because the pineal gland, when you're having non-physical experiences with consciousness, and when consciousness comes back into the human body and integrates back in, locks back in, all of that data and information and visuals, that whole experience you had in those other bodies, it transfers and downloads through the pineal gland so that it can be stored into your human brain, so that your consciousness can access the memories while you're awake in this body. And that's just how it works. I know that might be a little controversial, for some people.
Dude, I love controversial. Let's go.
But we can talk about all kinds of stuff. But we could just do like a special thing on.
Let's do it. No, we're down. I already have the notes. We're gonna do it. That's our next episode.
Alrighty. All right, man.
We'll even jump on the internet and we'll pull up some images and stuff like that. It's gonna be great.
Nice. That sounds awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for helping to make this lineup so we can have this interview. And sending you a lot of good vibrations and positive energy, and nothing but success. You're going to be an amazing star with what you're doing. Thank you. Because of the energy that you're putting into it. So,
I really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. That. All right, man.
All right.
Peace, dude.
I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay, bye.